speaker, and I have with me today for our broadcast Attorney David Daggett of Daggett, Shuler, Attorneys at Law. David, how you doing?
Good, Cindy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Now let me ask you a question. How many
Sure.
miles did you how many miles did you run this morning?
Actually, I swam this morning, ran at lunch.
Of course.
So
You're
yeah,
amazing.
I've gotten old, so my old bones feel better swimming in the mornings. But so usually weekday mornings I swim. Of course, our Y opens at 4:45, and there's one at the door, and I'm ready to go. So
Oh my
we're
goodness.
we're raring to go here.
Oh, you amaze me. Well, I always, it's always funny, like when I'm talking to you and you're like, oh yeah, we did a 100-mile bike ride today. And I'm like, and then, a 10-mile run. So what we're going to talk about today is some
Sure.
of this winter run safety, because there's a lot of runners. And I know you live in a nice area, and I'm sure there's a lot more runners where you live than where I live. But let's talk a little bit about run safety for the winter.
So I'm really proud of our community. I think over the last number of years, there's been an emphasis on active, healthy lifestyles, and that's been good. But as a practical matter, people who are getting outside for exercise at this time of year, they're either doing it before work or after work. And right now, it's dark before work and it's dark after work. So the winter time presents some challenges that we don't have during other times of the year, and that those challenges are being seen and being safe when you're out on the road. And I'm a huge proponent that people who are outside, whether you're running or walking your dog, we're all on the same team, and we all want to be ambassadors for safety when we're out on the road. And I truly believe that most motorists want to help us and encourage our healthy, active lifestyle, while at the same time they have some trepidation that that there's people they can't see,
Yeah,
or in presenting dangers that no driver wants to be faced with. So
right.
I think that we have an obligation to make sure we're ambassadors and make sure we're doing what we should do. And there's some simple rules to start with, and then we can talk about some other things. But first of all, always be facing traffic. Um, Number one, it's the law, but the reason it's the law is because it is safer. You can see what's coming toward you and you can react to it. And it also helps the driver because the drivers don't have to worry about somebody's backside that they can't see. It's interesting. Right out here down the street from the office, in the mornings, I frequently see a runner running, or a jogger going with traffic on the edge of the road
Wow.
and wearing dark clothing. And it's
Ah,
just, you know, it, at some point there's going to be a tragedy arising
right.
from that. We need to do everything we can to help prevent that. So number one, face traffic. Number two, be seen, be visible. And there's so much technology coming out now for visibility. You've got the standard old reflective vests. I actually have a reflective vest. I also have reflective armbands and leg bands, which I actually think are neat because the movement of them kind of flickers for
Right.
cars, and you can see them from quite a ways away. And I think those are very, very good, very, very effective. I, um, but they also have all sorts of different lights, flashing lights, um, fancy lights. I laugh. One of my friends who might be watching this, Brian Highsmith, he runs early in the mornings, and he's got a vest that has lights into the vest, and they flash at different times. He looks like a Christmas tree when he's out running. But by golly, he's safe. I mean, you
Yes,
can't
that's
get
great.
you can't miss seeing him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the one that I'll equivocate just a little bit on is there's the headlamp lights
Yeah.
that a lot of people wear so that they can see where they're
Right.
going, and it helps you with cracks in the sidewalk or potholes or missing some of those hazards on the road. And again, you would see those in the daytime, but before work or after work, you might be able to see them. The one thing about those headlights is you got to be careful where you turn your head and where you aim it,
Okay.
because the headlight can be confusing
Thanks.
to the drivers coming, because a driver instinctually thinks
Yes.
that that's an oncoming motorcycle or bicycle headlight, and so they can get spooked or scared and have a different sort of bad reaction that isn't real safe. So if you have those headlights, be mindful that when you look at the car, you're shining your headlight right at them, and so don't do that, because it can be very confusing, particularly to elderly drivers. And when I say that, I realize that at my age, I now classify as the elderly. But the truth is that our vision and our ability for depth perception and those sort of things at night, it goes downhill as you age.
Yeah. It
And
does.
so, help the elderly like me when I'm out on the road by being visible and by being safe when you're out there.
That's a great point, David. It really
Yeah.
is. Do
Yeah.
you see, now you're out there a lot running, and do a lot of people use the headlamps? Is that
No, that the
common?
headlights have become very, very popular.
Okay.
What I actually like better is there a neat little product. They're knuckle lights, and so
Okay.
it's like a band that goes around your hand, and you run like this. So
Okay.
your knuckle lights
Yeah.
point forward, but it's more of a strobe effect because your hands are going up and down,
Right. Right.
and that's not as confusing to a driver as the headlamps, and you can focus your knuckles wherever you want to focus them if you need to see something.
Okay.
So I think those are I think those are kind of an ingenious idea. And
Yeah.
it's not that I'm against the headlamps. Just be aware that it can be
Right.
very confusing and
Yeah.
deceptive to a motorist under certain situations.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
Yeah. What you're talking about is a number of products, as you said, technology is more advanced now. Is it still important to wear bright colored clothing, or does that not matter because you have
Well,
so many other things on your knuckles
no,
and
no, absolutely. The bright colored clothing,
that is
day or
important?
night, is
Okay.
extremely helpful.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of reflective technology now
Okay.
that is sewn into clothing, and some of it they've actually made it quite fashionable. So there's some uh, cold running jackets, uh, so that they look normal in the daylight, but you shine a light on them and they're reflective. So,
Okay.
in the old days, we kind of wore goofy stuff, that the reflective clothing wasn't necessarily fashionable. Now there's all sorts of reflective clothing that's pretty fashionable
Yeah.
and does a very good job, and some of it is really high visibility. Most of your running stores, our local Fleet Feet store, good friends of ours, they have a whole section with lights and reflective running gear and those sort of things. And you don't need to go overboard like my friend who looks like a Christmas tree, but you do want to be visible when you're out
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah. What about a lot of people I know in my neighborhood are out walking dogs at night? What about that? Because I would
It,
guess even if you have bright clothing, what about the
it
visibility of the animal?
It's no, it's the same sort of rule. It's interesting. On my drive home from work, I go down one street that doesn't have any sidewalks,
Okay.
and it's rather dark, and you have people out walking their dogs after work, which is great. It's great
Yeah.
exercise. It's good for the
Sure.
dog. It's good for you. It's good, meet your neighbors. Good for everything. There's
Yeah.
no downside to it, except if you're not visible. They actually make leashes that are reflective, dog collars that are reflective. So absolutely, the same thing that we talked about the joggers and runners, that applies to walkers, whether you're walking the dog or fitness walking or just being out.
Yeah.
You want to be seen and you want to be visible. And
Yeah.
look at it from the driver's point of view. You want to do everything you can do to help the motorist be able to see you and help keep you safe. And likewise, I always tell this to bicycle riders, always be nice to the motorist, because the motorist will be nice to the next cyclist down the road.
Yeah.
So always being visible, doing what you can to help a motorist not only helps you, it helps the next person that they encounter down the road also.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important.
Yeah, very helpful. Well, this is good. A lot of great safety tips, and I think it's important for awareness.
Yeah,
I don't think these are all common knowledge things.
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to comment on is particularly beginners and new people into the fitness community, is they tend to many times feel, well, I'm not good enough yet to go into the running store and look at these reflective vests. That's for serious runners, or I'll wait till I'm a little more active before. No, let's get in that habit right at the beginning. I put the reflective gear on the hook during this time of year, right over my running shoes, and it's just the routine. You put it on when you go out. So for any of our new athletes out there, first I want to welcome you to the healthy fitness community, but let's start those good habits now for being safe.
Yeah.
And then another thing, and I don't know if you know this, Cindy, is our office has kind of become a popular meeting place for runners, actually year-round. We have running groups that meet here early in the morning, meet here after work, and meet here on the weekends and run from our office, because there's a number of good routes right around here, and we certainly welcome that. Yeah. So we put in a water fountain outside our building for runners, so that they stop and get a drink of water. Yeah. And what they don't know, so I'm telling them here, is right inside the wall where the pipe is, we've got a great big commercial water filter. So our water fountain has the purest water of any water fountain in town.
Oh, and that's great.
Last year we had the pipe dug up and wrapped with a heat tape that we plug in the wintertime. So our water fountain is running year-round. So it runs in the winter also. It's
oh, my word.
So and the reason I mention this is dehydration is actually more prevalent in cold weather than in hot weather. So and that's very, very interesting. Part of the reason is the person doesn't realize that they're dehydrating, and breathing in and out cold, dry air. That's where you lose a lot of your moisture, is just through your mouth. So stop by our drinking fountain and make sure that you stay hydrated when you're out there on those winter runs also.
That's great. That's great. That's amazing that you did that. I love it.
Oh, it's fun. Oh, we love it too. I think we get more joy out of it than they do. We're just glad to have those runners think of this as one of their home bases.
I love it. Well, David, if anybody has questions, how can they reach out to you or your firm?
We always have safety tips on our website at daggettshulerlaw.com, or can give us a call at 336-724-1234. And just stay active this winter, but please be safe.
All right. Well, thanks, David, for being with us again. Always good to have you. And for those of you watching either live or by replay, thank you for being with us. Feel free to share this. These are great tips to share with fellow runners, and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks, everybody. Bye.